I won't let you down, sir.
I'm sure you won't.
No, seriously, I'm on this. This is going to be the least I've ever let anybody down.
Don't forget to subscribe. I think it's been pretty interesting to see the reaction for this one on all the different platforms since it aired. I haven't read them all, but here's the general takes.
Worst episode of all time, and Moffat and RTD have ruined the show.
This is just one of the best episodes ever. We all wept openly.
When's Tom Baker coming back? And this colorization of the War Games was sacrilegious.
David Tennant and Matt Smith are so hot. Let's make a thirst edit.
Woke, 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 woke. Everything's woke.
But you're not here for their opinions. You're here for mine. And mine is what matters.
So, Moffat is back again to write the Christmas episode. And even though we roasted him pretty well in my last review in Boom, we're just going to go right back to him since I'm in the very middle of reviewing last season. 73 Yards is coming, my friends. I already started on it. But let's just be somewhat relevant and take a closer look at the 2024 Christmas special.
Joy to the world.
So this one's pretty fairly convoluted and timey-wimey, but when you strip it down, it's pretty simple. A woman named Joy checks into a shitty hotel because she's sad due to her mom dying during the COVID restrictions, so she couldn't be by her side when she died on Christmas Day in 2020. So to deal with it, she books herself into a hotel for a week to, I guess, be away from everyone and mourn the loss and hate herself for not being able to be there when her mom died. Also, she holds some pretty serious anger issues about government officials having parties when they told everyone they couldn't be around each other and couldn't be around their dying loved ones in the hospital. So, you know, Merry Christmas? Meanwhile, the Doctor is being his typical mopey self whenever he loses a companion, so he materializes inside of the lobby of the Time Hotel to steal some milk and hot water for his coffee, but figures out something is wrong when he sees a guest waiting for a room with a briefcase handcuffed to his arm and starts investigating, with the help of hotel worker Trev, by ordering the most basic of white woman meals, a ham and cheese toastie and a pumpkin latte, and sets off to find a woman in Lululemon yoga pants, Ugg boots, and taking selfies. He finally finds her, finds the briefcase, nearly kills Joy, works at a hotel for a year, makes a friend, creates a bootstrap paradox, loses the case, does some heroic shit that doesn't really matter in the end because Joy, I guess, ate the starseed that was about to be born because Villengard was trying to make an energy source from an actual star they created, and becomes the Star of David for the wise men during the birth of Jesus. Oh, and she gets to watch over her mom as she dies because she's a star now. It's convoluted. People that die really don't. It's cheeky, it's schmaltzy, it's a Moffat episode. So let's break it down. Things that I liked. 2 women, Basil? You old dog. I read that it's supposed to be Madame Vaxtra and Jenny that he's talking about, but that's not really made clear.
So I'm going with Basil had a threesome. Try and stop me.
Plus, it's pretty historically accurate for Basil and his wife to be scared as shit of a gay black man coming in and trying to give them food in 1940. I can appreciate that the Doctor uses the Sonic a lot more in this episode. I don't really feel like he used it at all pretty much the entire last season. Of course, this is a Moffat episode, and he was pretty reliant on that magic MacGuffin when he was showrunner. I like my sonic screwdrivers used when they're absolutely needed. I certainly don't like it when they blow shit up or basically solve everything in the episode by waving it around. Actually, I would really appreciate it if at some point we could establish some rules for the sonic screwdriver, because at this point I don't know what it does anymore. I do like that the doctor is still moping around because Ruby left. I know part of the point of this episode is to remind us that the doctor needs a companion, although I think the runaway bride probably accomplished this better than any episode that I've ever seen, and it does make sense that the doctor would be sad because he doesn't have a friend to share his adventures with. Can we talk about how great Trev actually is? Actually, we're going to go ahead and just bring up everybody right now. Both Anita and Trev in this episode were a refreshing surprise. We all thought we were going to get the girl from Bridgerton as a one-time companion to the doctor, and that was cool. I like her. She's a good enough actress. But what we got was Trev and Anita, and it was so much far more interesting, and it left me wanting more of both of them. If you watch the making of this episode, Russell T Davies talks about how Anita was going to be a much smaller part, but because the actress was so good, Stephen Moffat kept writing more and more for her. And I gotta say that both Trev and Anita are both extremely good. I want to see Trev and Anita as companions. I was way more interested in both of them than I ever was for pretty much every member of the fam. Trev is quite funny in his brief scenes, and oh my god, the chemistry between the Doctor and Trev here is so good.
Oh dear. I went and let him down.
Also, Trev, you didn't let anybody down. We let you down. Your flag means awesome. If you haven't figured it out yet, the whole cast is great in this episode. Joy, Anita, Trev, even the Silurian manager gets a nice moment. But the glue that holds the whole thing together is Ncuti. I can't state it enough. He really shines as the Doctor. I know I say it in every episode that he's in, but he saves hollow scenes and fixes a lot of lazy writing with that smile. The track record with actors that play the Doctor is perfect to date. Even if some had to wait for vindication, they have all proven how amazing they all are. There is not one actor that has played the Doctor that has failed the role. The writing and direction may have failed them, they have all honored and owned that role. It's such a stellar track record that it's almost unbelievable. This episode was especially special because it was one of the very few episodes where we get to have a deeper look into this Doctor's personality. Of course, it makes sense since Moffat wrote this one and Boom, which were both Doctor-centric because he's always been more interested in the Doctor's inner workings than the outer changes to the people around the Doctor that RTD is more interested in. I'm still not really sure what Chibnall was interested in, other than the Master is crazy and the Morbius doctors are real. I love seeing Ncuti switch from winning Smile to frustration at himself to his takedown of Joy to get her angry. Again, his range is able to spread its wings a little here, and he proves that he has so much more than just a smile. He has a lot of range. He is a very good actor. I'm really excited to see so much more of him this upcoming season. I really hope that RTD gets into the psyche of the Doctor a little bit more.
What kind of person can a sad sack human train wreck puts himself in a room like that?
I really like this breakdown the Doctor does of Joy to get her angry. We've seen the Doctor do stuff like this before, but it's been a long time since he's done this. Now, it's not McCoy levels of dark, but it is nice to see him do this once in a while to remind us what he's capable of. Plus, Moffat loves the Last Christmas trope, and he gets to use it a bit again here. Everybody wins, and everybody lives.
Oh, thank you. Very kind. Oh. The starseed will bloom in the flesh will rise. Oh, I know.
I love Anita's ability to look the other way and say, not my problem, to everything. That is perfect for the hospitality industry. You go, girl. Keep not seeing anything. God knows in that profession there's plenty not to see.
Things I didn't like. Wouldn't the Doctor absolutely hate a time hotel? It's pretty rare that the Doctor is happy with any kind of time travel other than his TARDIS. He certainly hates that time vortex manipulator thing that people sometimes wear. It just seems that he would be pretty freaked out that there was a hotel you could go to that could put you anytime throughout history. And even if a hotel had figured out how to not create paradoxes by going back in time, he certainly would have been freaked out that every single portal is to a fixed point in time. Certainly people with nefarious plans could go back and fuck up history and fuck up the universe. Like, imagine the Daleks or the Cybermen or the Sontarans could just waltz into one of these rooms and alter history with just a little bit of jiggery-pokery to whatever safeguard the boys at Hilton figured out would keep the average dad from Sussex on holiday from screwing up history. He would not be down with this type of luxury vacation. Plus, how did this hotel get this type of technology? I know time travel is certainly possible with a lot of different species throughout all the universe. The Daleks have it, Cybermen, Time Lords, Time Agents, so on. But I really do feel like this technology is not something that the entire universe has or has been exposed to. It just seems like something like this, some random time hotel in 4202, is a pretty mundane use for something like this. So how are they using it in all the governments and militaries that have to have this before a hotel? Humans would have completely messed up all of time by now. We can't be trusted with AI. There's no way that we wouldn't f up the entirety of history in a nanosecond if we had this type of technology. Isn't this what Time Lords are for? To make for sure dipshit like me didn't f things up? Now look, I love Anita and I love the chemistry and friendship between her and the Doctor. The year he spends with her is sweet and funny and all around fun to watch. What I didn't like is, why did he do this? He tells himself that he has to wait a full year. He has to be stranded in this hotel to figure out the code to save Joy from dying, etc. But he doesn't, does he? Nothing in the year that he spends with Anita helps him figure out the code. And yes, he doesn't have a TARDIS here at the hotel, but Donna's house is a taxi ride away, and there's a TARDIS in her backyard. There's also another doctor that can give him a lift. I thought the rehabilitation of the Doctor was for him to get over his past trauma and learn how to slow down and enjoy normal life with friends and family. I mean, what was the point of the bi-generation if that didn't happen when 14 was in the backyard with the Nobles? So why is it in his very next incarnation he needs to do it again? 15 told 14 in the giggle that he needed to do this. He needed to slow down. He needed to open up. So why does he need to do it again here? You already did this. And presumably for longer than a year, and presumably with one of your best friends and companions. While the idea of chair night is really cute, what the f*** was garden parties for then?
You can't use the TARDIS because of a causal nexus, but you can create a bootstrap paradox? Come on, Moffat. I'm sorry, but Villain Guard's plan seems really flimsy. So when the Starseed is ready to be born, I guess, they say that they plan to send a message to the last person that had the case. To do what exactly? If the star is going to explode because some hypnotized hotel worker didn't get an email, it just seems like that's probably not the best way to get what you want. Especially if you're going to give the briefcase over to some caveman in 68 million BC, they're not going to know what to do with it, and they're certainly not going to be able to help you whenever the star is ready to be born. Because they're not going to live that long. Are they supposed to leave it in the past, be giving the briefcase to somebody their entire lives up until it gets to the point that the star is ready to be born? Gosh, that's really flimsy, man. I hope that you're keeping tabs on this star throughout time, considering that if someone were to just open the briefcase, you're going to kill whoever is holding it, and who knows who's going to get it after that.
No, I do not accept Trev's death. Look, I know that later on in the episode that Trev saves the day. I get that his psychic link or whatever the fuck is in his head is able to work out where the starseed ends up and helps the Doctor figure that shit out too. But if the Doctor can create his own bootstrap paradox with a code to the briefcase later that he just makes up, then he can go back in time with his little time machine and save Trev's life. Trev's life is not a fixed point in time. And if you're wondering how the Doctor will get the information to find the starseed and save the day, then I'll just say use the exact same writer bullshit that Moffat does later in this very episode and say, it just is. Shut the fuck up and go save Trev.
What?
Things I didn't understand.
Oh. Hello. Merry Christmas.
Did anyone else find it odd that Joy was talking to flies in her room? I mean, hey, it does seem like she's pretty lonely and she has nobody to spend Christmas with, but talking to flies? I mean, there's sad, there's pathetic, and then there's back away slowly weird. Christmas everywhere at once seems kind of useless at a time hotel, doesn't it? I mean, you could easily be at Christmas anytime you want to in this hotel. So there's a hobbit door, Mr. Ben, and this woman, and according to the credits, her name is Sylvia Trench. If you don't know, hobbits are from the Lord of the Rings books, movies, and other assorted media. Mr. Ben is a book and a cartoon, and Sylvia Trench is the first Bond girl who said her name like you're used to James Bond saying it. Only she said it before he did, and that's why the Doctor turns into a grammar Nazi when he reads her letter. Here's my question. Is this a time hotel or is this Fantasy Island? Because going back in time is not going to let me see Lenny pet rabbits while George blows its head off, unless I'm visiting a movie set. Literary figures are not real people.
I mean, why not pop on over to Hogwarts and take Mr. Snape's class? Can you make that happen, Time Hotel?
And no, I'm not getting into the Jesus part on this bit, not with a 2,000-foot pole. My point is, this seems like kind of some bullshit here.
So we still have one mystery from last season, and that is, who the fuck is Mrs. Flood? And I do think we may have gotten some sort of clue here. Now, I'm not saying that she is, but last season, Susan Twist played Susan Triad. And this season, we have Anita Dobson playing Mrs. Flood, and we have a character named Anita. So maybe...
Nitpick Corner.
So I thought I'd establish a new section called Nitpick Corner, because sometimes whenever I'm looking at some of these things and I think to myself, you're just nitpicking, and I shouldn't hold it against the episode. Is it just me, or does Shooty look like he has gray hair throughout this entire episode? The lighting in this episode sucks.
So if the Doctor can now make pocket dimensions, or pocket universes, out of coffee cups and microwaves, why doesn't he just create something that's bigger on the inside for this star, and now your problem is solved?
So what did I think? I thought it was mid. I don't usually have high standards for these Christmas specials unless they're regeneration episodes. Most of the time they're overly sweet and lean heavily into the idea that the whole family is watching, so they tend to be light. This one isn't much different, and I doubt seriously that this story will have much of an effect on the rest of the season. I did enjoy the Ruby cameo, and I'm glad that they're reminding viewers that she's there and has a part to play. But I did enjoy getting new Doctor Who episodes, and this cast was great. I give it a 5 out of 10 salt shakers. It was pretty run-of-the-mill. Wow, I feel relevant. Now, I am going back to finish out last season, but it was nice to review something new that my viewers had just seen and is top of mind. And you people made this Grinch's heart grow 3 sizes this past Christmas by getting this channel to 30 subscribers. Wow. Look, I know that there are thousands better Doctor Who reviewers out there, but it's good to see that you like jumping on one that is silly and doesn't take itself too seriously. At Salty Ham, we love the show and point out its flaws, but come back excited for the next episode because we know if we didn't like this one, we're probably going to like the next one. Speaking of liking the next one, the trailer for the new season looks intriguing. I especially love this shot. I love this style of animation, and I can't wait to see how it's incorporated into whatever's going on. It looks like it's a Mrs. Flood thing, so I bet it's her wielding her story god power since I think she's the god of stories. And the next Versus review will be 73 yards. Like I said, I've already started on it, although expect this one to be a little bit different than the normal shenanigans that we get into. It's pretty fair to say that I loved that episode, and I will be exploring the reasons why it's one of the very best Doctor Who episodes that I've seen in years. Subscribe because you're not going to want to miss it. So until next time, stay salty, my friends.
Jesus.